Hello and welcome back once again to After the Credits. So, in case you can't tell, I'm standing up because this room is huge and I have plenty of space. The camera's way in the hell over there, and I can actually kind of stand up and move around and do stuff. Don't know why I'm standing other than I don't feel like adjusting the camera height and everything for a sit down, because this is what it would look like if I was sitting down. Hi. You see how much adjusting I would have to do? I'd have to bring it down, pull it in. So for right now, I'm going to be standing for this one. So, in case you can't tell by the title card, I finally got around to seeing Captain America Civil War. Again, sorry if there's problems with the audio. I'm recording this through the webcam, and because I don't have my mixing board set up yet. Probably not going to for quite a while. So, what did I think of Civil War? It was fun. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Kind of takes me back to the whimsy that the earlier films kind of had, or that I felt was kind of missing in Avengers Age of Ultron. The comedy aspect was still there, but I don't think in Age of Ultron they focused enough on the actual events that were going on, where in this one they did. They didn't really go a whole lot into why the Civil War kind of came up. And I mean, they did as far as like certain aspects of it, but as a whole, it was like, people could have kind of resolved this without the fight. So, Captain America's aspect of the Civil War is basically General Ross from the Hulk movies comes back in. He's like, look, there's been a lot of damage done by you Avengers. We need someone to regulate you guys, and so on and so forth. And Captain America wouldn't be against that idea, except they want to turn it over to the UN, and the UN always has its own agendas. So he's like, well, what if we don't feel that we should be involved in something you want us to be involved in? We don't have the option to say no anymore because now we're governed by a body, where if we're on our own, we can, choose what we want to get involved in for what we feel is right. And you can't argue his point. Tony Stark's side, Iron Man's side, is that he sees the amount of destruction they've caused, and he sees the negative impact it's having on top of the positive aspect. It kind of starts with this one woman who's like, my son was killed during one of your guys' events. Even though you saved all these people and the world and everything, there's still casualties. So Tony kind of has this, maybe we should be put in check type of thing going on, which kind of goes against the character we've seen develop for the first 3 Iron Man films, where he didn't want to be regulated by anybody. As the Iron Man suit, the military tried to buy it, and he's like, well then it's just a weapon of destruction, I don't want that, so he was kind of maintaining control. So it's almost like he's flipped his personality a little bit, which is kind of understandable, but at the same time doesn't seem to fit. Maybe if it had been fleshed out a little bit more, like it was more than just this woman saying, my son died at your hands. Because, Scarlet Witch, her and her brother were against Tony Stark in Age of Ultron because they almost died due to Stark weapons. That issue was never resolved, yet she's on his team. That whole thing, they just glossed over at the end of Age of Ultron, and now she's siding with him. So why she joined the Avengers in the first place doesn't 100% make sense to me, other than what Hawkeye said to her in Age of Ultron. But here, I don't know, it's just weird the way everything kind of meshes together. The rest of it all kind of falls into place. Unfortunately, one of the biggest reveals with Ant-Man was spoiled for me on Facebook the other day, thanks to a stupid ad that showed what happens with Ant-Man. At the same time, though, it was still awesome. I'm not going to spoil it, but, the movie's been out for a couple weeks, so everybody's probably already seen it. The inclusion of SpiderMan, unfortunately, I think we could have done without. They just wanted to add SpiderMan. 1, I guess, to try and steal him back from Sony and kind of bring him back into the Marvel fold. And 2, to flush out the team numbers. Otherwise, you would have had 4 against 5. So they were like, we need a 5th person here, so let's see if we can get Spider-Man back. I know they got plans for Spider-Man, but honestly, I would have liked to have seen the Amazing Spider-Man 2, or 3. I've said that for a while now. I'd like to see where they were going with the Sinister Six. I did see on Facebook the Sinister Six movie may still happen. Don't know. Maybe it'll be in conjunction with Marvel. It'll be like a Marvel-Sony mashup project. So we'll see where that goes. The character of Spider-Man in this one, I do like that they didn't go full-blown into the origin story again. We don't need that. But at the same time, I just feel his inclusion wasn't needed. He just kind of came out of nowhere secondhand. It's like, Stark's team was like, I need a fifth player. And, oh, hey, I think I have an idea. So he goes to New York and pulls up this kid. And he's like, yeah, I know you're Spider-Man. He's like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, oh, this isn't you. And shows him a picture. And it shows him fighting crime as Spider-Man in this really generic suit, kind of like in the Tobey Maguire version, what he was wearing when he was wrestling, but not a little bit more Spider-Man-ish than just a red hoodie. So it's kind of like, his prototype thing. And then Stark kind of develops the new suit with him, which you would think with it being Stark Tech, it would be a little bit more armor-ish, but because he kind of says, you can't really protect yourself a whole lot wearing, like, spandex, but then, like, the suit that he gets from Stark is pretty much fabric, because the mask, like, even rolls up at one point, so it's still, like, fabric. But maybe that's new Stark Tech. Maybe he's going to, like, a thin nano polymer type of thing that's flexible to try and bring down the Iron Man suit, because haven't actually read into it much, but I know in the new Superior Iron Man comics, he has a lot thinner, tighter suit that's more like body conforming, so maybe it's a flexible metal type of thing. I don't know. I have a copy of it, I just haven't read it. So yeah, Spider-Man, his whole inclusion just really didn't need to be there. I would have liked to have seen him in his own movie from this aspect, kind of taking off from here, being, his movie, but I think a lot of what they were trying to do with Spider-Man was just wasted here. It needed to be in its own separate thing. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Spider-Man. Not going to go too much into the details of the movie. I think it's kind of obvious what happens. Cap's trying to protect his friend Bucky from being destroyed because they think he's still working as Winter Soldier, although he's kind of just in hiding and hasn't been active. Cap goes to his defense. So because Tony Stark and a bunch of the other half of the Avengers signed this control contract, I guess, they're sent to apprehend them, and basically Cap's team is kind of war criminals at this point. So then, of course, you have the big battle, which I guess makes it sanctioned at this point. Both sides destroying an airport and whatever else becomes sanctioned under this new accord because they sent the Avengers in to fight the other Avengers. Yeah. So overall, it was fun. I enjoyed watching it for the first time since, I don't know what the last, probably Dark World. I remember enjoying Dark World quite a bit. But then with like Age of Ultron, I was just kind of like, it was there, but it was just eh. Now we're back to the fun aspect of, the previous films. Even like Guardians of the Galaxy, it was fun, but it was intense, and this is fun and intense all in one nutshell too. Yeah, so it's continuing the Marvel Universe. How can you hate it, right? You can, but it's by a very thin margin. So that's it for this one. As far as a star rating on this, I would have to give it I'd say, I was going to say a 3.5. I'm getting a lot more stricter on my star ratings. Normally I probably would have said it was a 4, but because I'm trying to be a little bit more strict on them, I'm going to give it a 3.5. Like I said, it's above what Age of Ultron was in my opinion, but like the inclusion of Spider-Man just didn't need to be there other than to balance the teams. Vision was kind of underused in it, but I understand why. Scarlet Witch's character was only minorly further developed. Black Panther was awesome. I'll give Black Panther that. Him coming into the Avengers, I think they could have done a little bit more with, other than him just showing up and all of a sudden he's on a team. It's in the first part of the movie, it was almost like he was kind of his own team, like a third team of one man in the middle of everything, but then he just kind of sided with Iron Man's team just because he wanted a shot at Winter Soldier. So, yeah. But otherwise, Black Panther was awesome. I'm looking forward to his movie. Kind of looking forward to the Spider-Man movie because I think what Marvel's doing with Spider-Man would be good on its own. I don't know if he needs to be involved in further Avengers products. I did also see something recently on Facebook that we may in Spider-Man Homecoming be getting introduced to Miles Morales, so perhaps this Peter Parker is going to be killed off, and then we'll get the Miles Morales version. Who knows? Yeah, so I'm going to give it a 3.5. It's close to a 4, but I'm being a little bit more stricter in my old age. So that is it for this episode. Again, as always, thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, rate, subscribe, and share the video. Links are in the description and up here in the corner if you're on YouTube. And until next time, as always, we'll see you after the credits.